So, very good evening, warm welcome. Today, we are just reflecting on the long-term forecasting. So, the long-term forecasting involves the methodology involves the unit demand, expert opinion, uh, and you need to carry on with a very systematically, in a scientific manner. So, how are you going to build that numbers? That matters about unit demand and expert opinion. So let me give you one case study. Okay, a manufacturing company is a leading provider of automotive components. Okay, the company is manufacturing the automotive components with a global presence. This company operates in a multiple manufacturing facilities, and they are facing the challenges in forecasting in the long term manpower needs due to the fluctuations in the market demand and also technological advancements. This is a challenge. Uh, you are planning, but then there are a lot of disruptions happening in terms of technological changes, demand. Market demand is changing. Now people are moving towards hybrid car and electrical car. All this, new cars coming in. Technology is changing. So how are you going to do that? So unit demand. Uh, what do you mean by unit demand forecasting in this context, in this manufacturing company? So the HR department in this manufacturing company, let us say X, they can collaborate with the unit managers for from each manufacturing facility to gather the information of the manpower what is needed to achieve this business objective. This is very important. We need to maybe probably you'll send out like a form or some sort of communication, or you can sit interview and then take the inputs from the unit managers. It's very important. Okay, so unit managers provide input based on the production targets what they have, capacity utilization of the capacity, and anticipated changes in the manufacturing process. So this information is aggregated to form the overall forecast for the organization's workforce requirements over the 2 to 10 years. This is how they build. Okay, then expert opinion forecasting. So let's see what they are going to do. In addition to the unit demand, the manufacturing company, which is X, leverages expert opinion to supplement its long-term forecasting efforts. For example, mashallah, like people like Batul having a 10 years experience in the same company, and people like her, 15 years, 20 years, they can give you the input from their mind, intuition, you know. This is a rule of thumb, you know. So just they say, no, I may expect 10 mechanics, foreman here, and like that, you know. Just they give out of their mind, you know, cashiers, number of cashiers, all that. So the HR director, along with the long range, like Krishna, in his oil and gas company, they have exclusively long range planning specialist, you know. These experts, they conduct the interview and consultation with the subject matter experts within the company, and these experts offer subjective estimates based on their judgment, as I told you, their intuition, and also the past experience. They have several years they are there, and they know the pattern, you know, business ups and downs, everything, and the trend, everything. Based on that, they are giving the input, taking into account factors such as technological advancements, industry trends, and labor market conditions, supply and demand, availability of the labor pool, skilled labor pool. And by combining this opinion of all the multiple experts, you know, the planning department is getting all these insights, and the manufacturing company obtains more accurate estimates of the future workforce needs. Okay, so by doing this unit demand and expert opinion, what is the outcome? By utilizing the both unit demand forecasting and the expert opinion forecasting methods, manufacturing company X gains insights into its long term manpower requirements. So, this allows the company to align its workforce strategy with the business objectives, anticipate the changes in the labor market, and proactively address talent gaps. You are actually in the baseline some number, and you like to have certain number, there's a gap, you know. So you are trying to always, you are monitoring closely and trying to bridge the, you know, targeted gaps. So the on a rolling basis, the alignment ensures that the workforce forecast is remaining the workforce forecast, it remains dynamic and responsive to evolving market conditions. You know, it has to be agile, dynamic means, like Batul's question, it may change, you know, in between some changes are happening, you know. So it has to be dynamic and responsive in evolving market conditions. Okay, like, okay, this is one, I can give you one more case study, but for time constraint we'll move on to the next one. So here we have some techniques. Okay, so experts opinions have three methodology. One is like a pooling, group consensus, and Delphi technique. Okay, so pooling, experts submit their individual opinions and then simply averaging uh, their estimates. Just you are going by the average. Okay, then group consensus, experts get together uh, for a group discussion. They come together as a nominal technique. Nominal, they come together in a good discussion and achieve a consensus. So group consensus is more accurate than pooling and separate estimates. Then we have Delphi method. Delphi method, you know, exam point of view is very important. Experts provide their best estimates through a series of questionnaires or the interviews. Okay, intermediary who summarizes, experts are asked to justify their inconsistent, you know, different views. So the intermediary circulates this information again in the form of report. Okay, after several iterations, the experts are expected to move toward a consensus. Okay, I will give you a case study. For example, Batul working for Almala Exchange. It's a financial services firm. In let's say it's having a presence all over the GCC, and specializing, and also Markaz Kuwait Finance Center. It's an investment bank which is specializing in investment banks and wealth management services. So the company you are having, you know, all over the world, UK, US, and everywhere, you know. So the company operates in a dynamic and highly competitive market, where accurate forecasting of future workforce needs It's very critical for your strategic planning and talent management. Don't you agree? This is very, very important for your investment banking. So how do you do this pooling method? So the HR department of this investment banking utilizes the pooling method to gather the experts' opinion on future talent requirements. So individual experts, including senior executives, department heads, HR professionals, submit their estimates of manpower needs of different businesses, units, and the functions. These estimates are then aggregated to generate a consolidated forecast of the organization future workforce demands. Okay, so you have to collect everything, and then you have to go back and forth and get that number consensus, with every all the parties concerned. Then you have to get the management approval, and then colors. Then we move to the group consensus, recognizing the limitations of the pooling method. In a pooling method, you are pooling from here and there, but it's not agreed upon. So that's why this is better than the previous one. So financial for services firm banking, investment banking, adapts a group consensus approach to enhance the accuracy of the workforce forecasting. The key stakeholders, including the experts from various departments, divisional heads, participate in the group discussions. You can take the lead. HR lead, professionals, you can take the lead in facilitating the session discussions through open dialogue and the exchange of perspectives. The group strives to reach a consensus of future talent requirements based on collective insights and the expertise. Okay, this is clear. Huh? Pooling and group consensus, are you clear? Very clear. No, easy,
That's good.
easy. Yeah. Now we move on to the Delphi technique. In addition to this pooling and the group consensus method, financial services firm, investment bank, let's say the firm A, employs a Delphi technique to refine its workforce forecasting process. What's happening? Experts are engaged in a series of structured questionnaire or interviews. You can send a structured questionnaire through email to individually, to everyone concerned, or you can discuss with them, privately, one to one. Okay, it has to be facilitated by the intermediary or HR consultant, or being a HR professional. You can also do this. So the intermediary summarizes their experts' initial estimates and circulates the information along with any divergent views or justification provided by the experts. You collect the opinion of everyone concerned, and then if there is any different opinion or divergent opinion, then that also you have to incorporate with the justification. Why this is different, why this number is just out of the loop, or it's just going out of the zone, some red circle area. So that so area has some justification. That also you just provide whatever provided by the experts, you compile. Okay, so then through multiple iterations or feedback and the refinement, experts gradually converge towards consensus on the future talent needs. For example, you are approaching a four important stakeholders, and three are giving more or less similar kind of input. The one person is giving you input which is out of the range. Then you have to go back to that person and not telling other three what they gave. Just know you have to talk to them, what is their point of view, why they are giving going out of this range, and get their justification, and go back and forth and try to convince, and then bring a consensus. Okay, for the future talent needs. What will be the outcome? By leveraging the pooling, group consensus, and Delphi technique methods, the financial services firm A, it can enhances the accuracy and the reliability of the workforce forecasting process. So this enables the company to make informed decisions regarding the talent development and talent acquisition, retention strategies aligned with the business objectives. Everything will fall in place. right from the recruitment to retention, motivation, everything. The iterative nature of the Delphi technique promotes collaboration and knowledge sharing among the experts, ultimately leading to more accurate and robust forecast methods. Okay, understood. No, this is clear. And another example, my own experience in Bubian Bank, they introduced, kind of ideas, to gather ideas for best bank slogan. So even I also participated. The PR and public relation department communication, they collected all the ideas, and then what they did, no, they masked the names. They are not telling who gave the idea. They are just listing the ideas, maybe in the PowerPoint presentation, and sending to the CEO, CHRO, group, GM group administration, and GM consumer banking operations, all the top heads. And they are going to rank, the ideas. They are looking at only the ideas, not the PR department is moderating, in the intermediary, collecting all the ideas and sending to the top executives individually, asking them to look at and prioritize. And they are they are getting the inputs, and then they're ranking all the ideas, and then they are announcing it. Beautiful, right? So this is also, I like this process, what they did, because the best idea has been awarded, not looking at who said the who was saying, but then what is being said. Understand? It's amazing. I really enjoyed, the process. Luckily, okay, right, very good. Okay, next one, we move on to the trend projections. Okay, trend projections are based on the statistical relationship between a factor related to the employment and the employment level itself. Okay, for example, in many companies, employment needs are related to the levels of sales, production, or type of service being provided. For example, we'll take Almula Exchange. The employment, you recruit people or deploy the people in the department based on the volume of the business, right? So number of transactions, services are being provided, how frequent the customers are visiting, what kind of volume, it's level of services happening based on that. I agree, no? For example, you are visiting many gas stations in Kuwait. There are gas stations, in the peak hours, very, very, very tight, because too many customers are frequenting. There you may have, many people are, salesmen and the cashiers will be, attending, in one station itself, 2 or 3 people will be there, 2 boys, you would have noticed, right? So they'll be attending the multiple customers, so it's based on the demand. So identifying the most appropriate factor related to employment is very critical step in making the trend projections. Sales levels may be most appropriate factor. For example, manufacturing, you are in the manufacturing company, you are the output is determined by the number of units you produce, the productivity. In the airline industry, number of flights you operate, Emirates, operating different flights, and they need a crew members, based on the number of airlines. And the hospital, number of patients, how many, Mubarak Hospital, for example, and there are different clinics are here, everywhere we see the clinics, Metro clinic everywhere, this clinics, they, for example, Corona time, too many patients, they couldn't accommodate patients. There are seasonal type. Now, for example, cold season, they have flu. This season, they expect certain, number of patients frequent in the clinic. They may give some vaccination, things like that, going on. So they know the trend, when there are more patients, though they have to deploy, number of staff, nurse and all. Okay. So I'm going to give you example how we are going to build the numbers. Okay. So employment levels are correlated with the volume of business activity. Simple linear extrapolation would indicate how many employees in each job category will be needed. For example, see here, this is how it looks like regression analysis. Regression analysis is a more sophisticated statistical technique for showing the quantitative relationships between the variables. The regression analysis predicts Remember we had a quiz that time. We had a discuss about what is a regression analysis. You were asking. I was telling, later on I'll give you the. So today I'm going to explain the regression analysis, Markov analysis, and one more question been asked. No, replacement chart. All that I'm going to explain today. So the regression analysis predicts the value of one variable from the weighted combination of other variables. Predict one variable from the weighted combination of other variables. Therefore, it is an ideal procedure for estimating the number of employees in each job category based on the volume of business activity. For example, nursing, you have the hospital. For existing 80 patients, you need 40 nursing staff. Okay. For additional 20 patients, you need to figure out how many staff you need. You need to apply the formula. Okay. So eight people may be required. So 40 plus 8, 48. So nursing staffs maybe right now 8, then plus this is a 0.40 40% is a weighted combination of other variables. Weighted combination of other variables. They have this. They come out with this number 40%. Has to be baseline. Supposed to be there. 40% of the staff always should be there at the minimum level. It come by the trend. The past trend. So they come out with the weighted figure. Okay, into multiplied by number of patients. For example, 8 plus 40 into 80. What is the figure you are getting? Chaiju? Are you there? 40 into number of patients. 80. 80. Yeah, 32. 32. I'm getting 32. Are you getting 32? All of you, please calculate. 32 plus 8 equal to 40. I'm getting. Correct? Saiji, you got it? And Krishna, are you with me?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. Got
Yeah,
it, got it,
okay,
got it.
okay, 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 sir. Yeah, okay. So 40 plus 8, you are getting 48. Okay. Then nurses 3 plus 15% in the number of patients, getting 15. Then 18. Okay. Then kitchen employees 1 plus 0.20 into number of patients 17. For 20 patients means, for example, then you have to calculate 20 into number of patients, 80 plus 20, 100. So here 40 into 80. Then for this 48, how will you get? 0.40 into 100. Then you get 48. Okay. Likewise, now this is how they build. Okay. So for example, let us illustrate I will give you one case study, regression analysis with a case study in the healthcare industry, specifically focusing on estimating the number of employees in different job categories on the volume of patients being treated in a hospital. Okay. So let us take a city general hospital. Okay. So City General Hospital aims to accurately estimate the number of employees needed in various job categories based on the volume of patients being treated. The hospital has historical data on the number of patients treated and the corresponding staff levels across different departments. They already have some base numbers, including nursing, medical, administrative, and the support staff. How do you approach? The hospital conducts a regression analysis to estimate the quantitative relationship between the volume of patients being treated, that is, the patients being treated as an independent variable, and the number of employees in each department category, it's a dependent variable. Understand, no? Because the number of staff, what is required, it is depending on the number of patients. So the number of patients is a independent variable. You need to have two variable to do the regression analysis. Please understand, two variable. One is independent variable and dependent variable. So the hospital, by analyzing this relationship of the independent variable the number of patients and the number of employees in each job category, that is dependent variable. By analyzing the relationship, the hospital can develop the regression analysis equation predicting the staff needs based on changes in the patient volume from 80 patients to, if you are increasing 100 patients, meaning the 20 additional patients. So what will be the scenario? We can have the come out with the figure. So the regression equation for the estimating the number of employees in each category based on the volume of patients treated can be expressed like this. Okay, but it's too much statistical also not required. Only a little bit of understanding. You got the point, right? The logic behind it. Okay. Beta, theta, and other coefficient, all these are not required. Getting into the deep dive into the statistics is not required. Okay. Mechanics, this is again getting into, I think, number of patients. Again, I expanded more examples. Let's consider simplified example with hypothetical data. Number of employee in the nursing, number of employee in medical unit, number of employee in administrative department, number of employee in support department. How you build the numbers. Okay. Now, we have a probabilistic model. Okay. Probabilistic model, it uses the probabilities of future events to estimate the future employment levels. Probability, Now, you are in the investment banking and oil and gas, right? So, for example, the volume of, wealth creation, you have certain number of people. And if you are increasing the business getting, volume is going to increase, what will be the probability of, number of people required? Probabilistic model. Then simulations, how the organization might look in the future depending on alternative decisions. For example, now you have a number of customer base and volume of business, and if you are going to increase that volume to a certain level, what will be the scenario planning or predictive analysis. Okay, we can do that. Okay, so organization and economic factors such as sales, predict, and gross national product, discretionary income, unemployment rates, and other market conditions you can do. So it shows the effects of each decisions on HR as well as on business outcomes, including the prices, sales, and the profits. Okay. For example, uh, this is a Markov analysis. We remember one question we had. You guys asking what is Markov analysis. This is how I'm going to explain now. Markov analysis is a simple form of probabilistic forecasting. Probabilistic forecasting. Okay, we talked about here the probabilistic model. This is how we do the probabilistic. Probabilistic forecasting. It analyzes the movement of employees among different job categories, organizational units, levels, locations, salary classes can be forecast based upon past movements. Okay, in any job category less than, for example, you need to, if you want to use the model, you need to have at least 50 employees and above. Okay, and if less than 50, this model may not work. Okay, and if the transition probabilities are not stable, it has to be stable also, your business. If it is unpredictable, changing volatility, it doesn't work. Okay, these are our preconditions. Okay, so let's look at this left side. Period used to establish a establish a transition probabilities. Transition, for example, people are movement of people. You have in your investment bank, you have different department: operation, risk, equity department, PR, and what else you have? Real estate, many others. So many departments, people are moving from one year to here, there, and people are getting transferred, promoted. Some people are resigning. So how are you going to track from the year beginning of the year to till end of the year? So this is how this model is going to work. Okay. So initial staffing levels, beginning of the year, for example, you can say department A, you have the 400 people are there. So what is happening? The 400 people, 60% are remaining there only in the department only. Okay, and 10% are moving to B, and 10% moving to C, 10% moving to D, 10% people left the company. As Batul was asking, people might leave also. So that also we captured. So if you look at this, you know, so at the end of the year,
See, Francis,
uh,
this is 6 to 40 means what? 6 to 40
What
portion.
is of 60% of 400?
yeah,
Ah,
60% of 400. Correct. Yeah, very good. Like that, no? So
in
the
40, like, because then 40 is left.
Yeah, so what is the 40 then?
360 is there.
so 360 people are in the B department B. Okay, 10% remains there. Okay, and then 70% is moving to B. Sorry, B. B says this is a B department, right? 360 people are there initially. So 250 to 70% remain there only. Okay, so 10% is going here. There is no people are moving to C department. There is no movement to D, and 20% people left.
From 360.
Yeah, from 360, right? Then
Hmm.
like that, then department C also 40% remains there only. 100 people are there. So here nobody is moving. 20% moving to A, then 10% to D, and 30% left the company. Okay. Then department D, 70% remains there. 10% to C, 10% to
This
B.
640 means recruited people or
In the beginning
The
of the year,
existing people, I think, yeah.
in the beginning
okay,
of the year, you had a head count,
640.
and then towards the end of the year, you need to track. This depend how many people move to different department. So this technique is helping you. So for example, after you split all the numbers, then you will come to know. So in the department A, you can compute together 326 people at the end of the year. They are going to remain there. And then B, you have 356. In the beginning of the year, 400 people, but towards the end of the year, only 326 people are there. Okay, and then likewise, 360, 356, 250 here, 204 are there. Then D, 640, towards the end, 513. Okay, this is the one way we can make use of this Markov analysis. Another technique, we know this trend, how many people are moving to different department. Based on that, we can project based on the trend data. Are you with me, Krishna? Yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So using the probabilities to forecast the subsequent years. Okay. So the planning departments also, guys, they may use this kind of technique also. No. So here, for example, initially 420 people are in the department A, and the trend. 60% remains there. 10% moves to a B, 10%, 10%, 10%. Okay, based on that you predict what will be the scenario. So towards the end of the year, you might have 342 people forecast level. So initial staffing level in the beginning of the year is this, and the forecast level what will be the scenario based on the. Likewise, we know we do this projections. It's also helpful. It's helpful, right? This Markov technique. What do you think?
Yeah, helpful, but we have to
Track. We have to
yeah.
Keep on tracking month and every month we have to
But
put
see, I
some.
still I didn't get it like in A326, for example, the previous one. Okay, how you
Mhm.
let's just count this from right to left? It is a 326.
Yeah.
Okay, but I
30
did not get
plus
100%, but it's okay.
36 plus. Yeah, 326 I'm getting.
Okay,
Yeah, when you add up everything, it's coming.
but 400.
Yeah, 400. Yeah, it's been 400 is been split into
400 should be 240, 40, 40, 40, 40, right?
40. Yeah, correct.
all that, like if you go vertical, it is 400. If you go
Yeah,
horizontal, you'll get 326.
yeah, correct,
End
correct.
of the year, A
Mm,
department has started with 400, ended with 326.
correct.
Department B started with 360, ended with 356.
Mm,
Department C 250 and ended up at 204. And
mm.
Department D started with 640, ended up with 503.
Sa.
Right?
Correct, correct.
Okay.
Okay,
So
but I didn't
based
get
on
it.
this, they have forecasted the other table, right?
Other time, correct.
Yeah. This is not actual. This is
Mm,
the left side is actual, right?
correct, correct. Now is a prediction, but what will be the probability we can have? Is kind of is helping you to plan. Now,
Oh, can you go back? I just want to take
mm,
a picture.
okay.
Okay.
Okay. Next one, we'll have a short-term planning. Short-term forecasting. We have time. Yeah, കളിക്കാനും പറഞ്ഞ്.
Just 4 minutes.
4 minutes left. Only 4 minutes left.
Yeah.
See, for short-term forecasting, predicting the demands for 1 year, minimum 3 months to maximum 2 years. Okay, and the responsibility of short-term forecasting usually belongs to the immediate supervisors and the unit managers.